Welcome back to Steve Robb Reviews. Today I'm going to review this power inverter. It's a 4,000 watt power inverter, and I'm going to go over some things that, well, maybe you didn't quite ever hear in another format where somebody was doing a review on a power inverter, because when you think about it, what is somebody's recommendation about a power inverter unless they have some experience with power inverters, right? That would make logic and sense. And over time, that is the best thing to do is over time see if something holds up. Now, in my opinion, in my view, this is the best power inverter anybody could buy for the needs that I have. I got a small little cabin up in Northern Ontario. It's about 700 square feet. And I wanted 2 outlets that could provide 15 amps each. And you know what? This does it. So today I'm going to do the review a little bit different. I'm going to show you the inverter first, and then I'm going to do this in a way to explain why I'm so confident that for me this is the best inverter, at least that I've ever used. So I'd just like to start off. I go back over 20 years ago when I first started delving into the solar and making my place completely off grid. Well, I started off with a 400 watt inverter from the same company, MotoMaster. Now, of course, Canadian Tire doesn't make any of their inverters. They just, they outsource them from somebody else. Whether the internals are different, I don't know, because a lot of times you will see one particular brand that is sold all over the world, and then in some places of the world, the brand is a different name, but all the internal components are the same. In this situation, I have no idea. But this one here is badged MotoMaster, but from Canada in Canadian Tire. But if you take a look at other websites, you'll see it says Energizer. So whether the internals are the same, I have no idea. Let's go over to the bench. Let's take a look. Okay, so I've taken it out of the box. I brought it over to the bench here. And let's just start off here with what you get. Now, the one thing I'd like to say first is I already have one of these. This is what I have in my cabin now. So those of you who've been watching my channel over the years, well, I told you last fall I was getting a new inverter for my little garage so I could have more power. And I put another 100 watt solar panel on my roof. And this is the inverter that's going to go in there. So this is the same one as I have in my cabin. And this is just the on-off. You can put in the wall. This is the cable. And it's like a phone jack cable. Just plug and play, easy. Here's the negative battery cable that comes with it. And you know what? It's not cheesy. It's not like a small little cheesy battery cable. It's a good sized battery cable. And on this side here, they give you the positive and a fuse. So that is ideal. That's exactly what you need. And I'm just going to show you the front here. Okay. This is not your regular type of power inverter that most people actually see. Underneath this here, you take this plate off and you can hook it up so that, it could be hardwired. They call it hard wiring. And it's got 2 USB ports, which I'd probably never use. And each one of these receptacles, 15 amps, 1800 watts. They have an off and on switch, which I will never use. I'll use the remote switch over there in the bag. And let's take a look at the back and let's see what the back looks like, because they've engineered the back just as good as the front. Okay, so we're looking at the back here, and they got a ground lug on the bottom. Here's your negative, here's your positive. And I just took this little protective cap off of here so you can orientate this any direction that you need. And I'll tell you something. I've never heard the fans go on. And I mean, I'm not using it at full capacity, but I'll tell you something. This unit here, if you lift it up, it's not cheesy. It's got some weight to it, right? So, that's the box right there. That means absolutely nothing. But what I want to do is I want to show you a box out in my shed that a lot of you have seen before, and you probably wondered what it was. And it is an inverter that is brand new in the box, and I refuse to use. So let's go out there and I'll show you that box. I'll show you the brand name, and this is going to get interesting real soon now. Okay, if we take a look right there, there's the brand name Tripp Lite. And I'm going to show you some little bit of footage here of their website and when I bought this and who I bought it from. I bought it off of Amazon. And I had this unit. It's a 2000 watt that you could hardwire, and I did hardwire it. And I tell you something, after about a year, this thing just turned off, wouldn't turn on. So I contacted the company. They said, yeah, it's under warranty. I had to pay $60 to ship it to them. And then they said, well, we got to get a replacement. So the replacement's going to take a couple of months. In the meantime, I said, okay. And that's when I bought my first MotoMaster 4000 watt inverter. And this here is brand new in the box, and I won't use it. I don't know what I'm going to do with it because, well, let's take a look and see why I have no faith in using their Tripp-Lite power inverter. And this one here was also a charger. It was not just a 2000 watt power inverter, but it would also charge batteries as well. And you could hook it up to like a generator, so it would charge your batteries. You know, it was all an integrated system where you could, well, like a ship-to-shore kind of a rig, or inside of a transport truck, or, you know, because these aren't cheap. So let's take a look. Okay, so what you're looking at there is the power inverter that you've seen out in my shed. And they don't actually produce this anymore. When I looked on their website, it says not available. And if you take a look at the 2 stars, well, back in 2018, well, I wasn't quite so savvy enough to actually read the reviews. And I thought, well, you know, what the hell, it seems to be like a really nice inverter, right? And it pretty much does everything. And I went from my 400 watt inverter up to this, and I thought, wow, that's a huge upgrade. So I just like to show you the inverter right now that they actually do have for sale, and that's it right there. And they've changed the backs. You could see that if we just go to you know, the old one, we'll go back to the old one, you could see that it's quite a bit of difference. And I guess they did have some problems back then, because you see they got more stars now, but there's the price they're asking today. And that's pretty much around the same price as it was back then. So, you know, when you're thinking about getting a power inverter, well, reading the reviews actually does work many times. And, you know, you should pay attention to them. But I want to show you the review right here. And this is a review I remember from way back then. And this guy wrote a review, or, yeah, Ronald here, Ronald B., back in 2016. And he goes on, he says he purchased this unit for his 40-foot RV because I guess he had an inverter that he somehow shorted out. But if you take a look here, it says that unit quit working after about 60 days of use. Tripp-Lite replaced it with a new one. Second unit worked pretty good for just over 3 years. Now that's not too bad, 3 years, right? But then it completely quit again without notice. So, you know, when you're thinking about buying an inverter, well, if you're going to spend this kind of cash, it should last a lot more than, come on, this guy got 60 days out of the first one. I got just over a year. And you have to pay to ship it back. And all they're doing is giving you another one. But I wish they would have maybe given me the newer, updated one like they have today on the screen. Because the one I got, you know, out in the shed, well, I got absolutely no confidence in it. And of course, I'm running a fridge now all the time. I just can't go back to a 400 watt inverter. And so I thought, well, I'll stick with the MotoMaster one. And, you know, it's been great so far. So now what I like to do is I like to have a little bit of a presentation here from the manufacturer themselves to show you some of the stuff, because it's very difficult to actually demonstrate or show all the different parameters of an inverter. And when you're thinking about, you know, all the different hookups and all the things that you're going to do to an inverter, and how you're going to, you know, thinking about demonstrating or reviewing an inverter, well, many times the manufacturer's instructions are probably the best in their manual that show exactly how an inverter, you know, is designed, and, you know, what its capacity is. And I think that's the best way to do this. So that's what we're going to do, and you know, that's the reason why I bought the second one. And I still have the whole setup, my original setup. I have videos of this particular inverter, this one right here. I got videos, you know, in my playlist of electrical testing. And you know, I test this inverter and everything, and it tested very nice, you know, and I had it all hardwired. So I mean, I got it still available today the way it is in my camp, that I can just hook this inverter up in probably 10 minutes easy. So, you know, I'm just going to hold on to this inverter because, well, I haven't had this MotoMaster one, you know, that long. But I mean, when you got something over 3 years old and it still keeps on going, and now this particular inverter you're looking at right here on the screen, that thing buzzed from the time that I bought it. Now I couldn't hear it in my cabin, but the thing had a constant buzz to it, and I did not like that. So, but this MotoMaster one makes absolutely no noise at all. Okay, so let's just start off at the first picture here, and I'd just like to show you the, down the bottom there, you can see there's like a little small little square panel, and that's just your push button off and on, and that actually illuminates as well, so you can indicate whether it's on or off. And behind it is the, well, I would just call it a phone cable more or less, and on the back of the unit is just the plug-in, so it's just a very easy plug-in back and forth. And on the next slide here, we'll see it has all the safety features that you'd expect of most power inverters. And this one here has the battery level. It's got the wattage output. So when you plug something into it, it'll actually measure the amount of wattage as well. And it shows the voltage of your battery and all the warning indicators. And this will actually shut off when it gets down to, I believe, just over 10 volts, but you know, it is a very good safe unit with all the different safety parameters built into it, so I'm confident on the safety factors involved. Okay, in this particular slide, what you're looking at is you can see that the panel's opened up in the front, and you can get 4,000 watts maximum from the front panel, and that's just your 3 conductors. You got your neutral, you got your ground, and you've got your hot wire, and that would have to go to a fused panel. A little small pony panel would be fine. And up top, your receptacles, it does indicate 1800 watts for each one. And if you've been watching my channel long enough, you know that the majority of all power inverters, whatever they are, well, it's split between the 2 plugs. So if this was like a style like many I've seen before, many of the lower wattage inverters, well, they actually split the amount of wattage between the 2 outlets, and you're not getting the full amount. Like this one here will be replacing a 1500 watt MotoMaster inverter, and the 1500 watt is actually only 750 watts for each outlet, where this one here, you're getting the full 1800 watts on each plug, or 4,000 through the hard wire. Now this has a total capacity of 8,000 watts just for like a couple of milliseconds, just for high peak loads. I'm very confident in it. Well, I think that is a terrific inverter, and at the end here I will put you know, some of them thumbnails of you know, preview for videos at the end, and you can take a look and you can see, you know, from my playlist of electrical testing, or if you're interested, you could take a look at my playlist for up in Northern Ontario, and you'll see that I tested this inverter many years ago and took a look at the load testing and took a look at you know, like how many amps it actually does draw when it's in idle mode. But so far I can't find nothing wrong with this inverter. And I'll tell you something, the warranty on this is not the same as Energizer. If you see Energizer, this is a 3-year warranty. And it's one of these warranties where if it breaks, you bring it to them and they give you an exchange. So it's not like they've only been making this inverter for a couple of years And when you show up with your problem, well, guess what? They don't make these no more. Well, I looked into it, and they've been making this inverter for quite a long time. So I'm confident that the inverter is pretty rock solid as far as I'm concerned, and I recommend it. I would give it like a 5-star. I have no complaints about it. It works flawlessly. It's very energy efficient, and I run my fridge off it. I've got like a small bar fridge. I've ran my 15 amp compressor off it. No problem. No problem at all. Vacuum cleaner. I'm thinking, what else have I ran off it that's high amperage? Well, I think my air compressor. And you've seen in my different videos where I run my SDS drill off it. You know, like a lot of items I've ran off it between 9 and 15 amps, and it handled it no problem. So, you know, would somebody out there consider spending maybe with tax $1,500 for one of them Trip Light deals, or go with the MotoMaster or the branded Energizer? I'd say take the Energizer MotoMaster deal. If you're in Canada, MotoMaster, you get an extra year warranty, I believe. So thanks for joining me here today. I hope you enjoyed this little bit of a presentation. It's a little bit different than a whole bunch of electrical testing. I've already electrical tested this to death, right? So thanks for joining me here today. Come back again. If you haven't seen this channel before, you're welcome to subscribe and see some more unique things that I do. Hopefully you find unique as well. Cheers.